And for more on this, we're now being joined by Dr. Avner Cohen from Monterey. He's a professor of non-proliferation and terrorism studies, Middlebury Institute. Thank you so much, Professor Cohen, for joining us on the broadcast. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Now, Professor Cohen, President Trump said on Wednesday that the Iranian government appears to have stopped killing protesters, but he stopped short of clarifying what that means for possible U.S. military action. Now, how do you read this statement? Does it suggest that military action is now off the table, or is there still need for caution going ahead?
I don't think so. I think military option is still on the table. I think there is a lot of deliberate ambiguity. And I think the first purpose was to halt the executions that were supposed to be massive in Iran in the coming days. And it seems like Trump was able to do that, giving some kind of vague understanding to the Iranian that he may have not made a final decision. But definitely, if they're going to execute, that would necessitate some kind of attack. So he was able to stop that. I think there is also a logistical issue. It appears that American military deployment is not ready to take serious and continuous action to support the demonstrations at this time, and they need some time. So by saying that they have stopped that, there is a Iranian commitment, and if they're going to violate that, would be an American action. Keeping some kind of ambiguity, he was able to stop something, to stop the execution, to try to bring assets to the areas, while keeping himself the final decision still somewhat in the air as the deployment is getting shape. That's the way I read it.
Right, Dr. Cohen, and it is resonant of what happened in June as well. Just before US airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites, President Trump spoke of deciding within 2 weeks, even though the decision had already largely been made. Now, Iran has made it clear that any US attack would invite strong retaliation. And given those warnings, how do you see this situation unfolding from here? And what are the most realistic escalation scenarios in the near term that we can see?
Well, that's the reason why the United States needs time. I mean, they have to specify what would be the offensive measures, which are not necessarily only kinetic, could be other means, cyber and others, to shake the regime. And also they need defensive measures to protect assets in the Gulf, in Israel, and elsewhere in the area. So they need time. And I think that by giving that kind of general pledge that no execution, that's a promise, by having the threats on the Iranians and getting more time, the president keeps himself more time for a final decision. At the same time, I think they're trying to assemble assets to the region. That's the way I read it.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Cohen, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your perspective with us. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how the situation develops from here.
Thank you.